You know the scene. You're driving home, it's been a long day, and you haven't even thought about what's for dinner. Then it appears, a billboard, shining like a beacon of hope in the twilight. It shows a burger, but not just any burger. This is the burger of your dreams. It's a majestic tower of flame-grilled perfection. The patty is thick, juicy, with perfect grill marks. The cheese is a glorious molten river cascading down the side. The lettuce is so crisp you can practically hear it crunch. The tomato is a vibrant, ruby-red slice of summer. The bun is a golden sesame seed-studded pillow. You fall in love right there on the freeway, so you pull over. Your heart is racing a little. This is it, the solution to all your problems, at least for tonight. You navigate the drive-thru, your voice filled with anticipation as you place your order. You can almost taste it. You imagine yourself taking that first glorious bite. The combination of flavors, the textures, the sheer satisfaction of it all. The commercials have promised you this moment of pure, unadulterated joy. They've shown happy families, cool teenagers, and successful business people all united by the magic of this one perfect sandwich. This isn't just food, it's an experience, a mini vacation from your stressful life. Then, the moment of truth arrives. The bag is handed to you through the window. It feels a little light, a little underwhelming. But you maintain your optimism. Maybe it's just packed efficiently. You drive away, find a spot to park, and open the bag with the reverence of a treasure hunter opening a chest. You unwrap the paper, your breath held in anticipation. And there it is, the reality. The burger you hold in your hand looks like it just went 10 rounds with a heavyweight boxer and lost. Badly. The bun is squashed, the cheese is a sad, congealed square, and the lettuce looks like it gave up on life 3 days ago. This, my friends, is the great fast food betrayal. It's a universal tale of hope and disappointment, played out millions of times a day in drive-thrus around the world. The majestic tower from the billboard has been replaced by a sad, lopsided slump of ingredients. The vibrant colors have faded into a beige-ish blob. You look from the picture on the bag to the burger in your hand and back again. It's like a dating app profile picture versus the person who actually shows up for coffee. You've been catfished by a hamburger. And the only thing to do is laugh, or maybe cry a little into your limp fries. I have to tell you about my own personal journey into the heart of fast food darkness. It was a Tuesday. Tuesdays are for tacos, right? At least, that's what the catchy jingle on the radio told me. I had seen the commercials for this new, revolutionary taco. It was called something like the Volcano Extreme Crunch Fiesta Supreme. The ad showed a crispy golden shell, overflowing with seasoned beef, a mountain of shredded cheese, fresh lettuce, and a vibrant swirl of some kind of spicy, magical sauce. People in the ad were biting into it with a crunch so loud, it probably registered on the Richter scale. They were ecstatic. This taco was changing lives. So, naturally, I had to have one. I abandoned all my sensible dinner plans, which probably involved a sad piece of chicken and some steamed broccoli. I drove to the nearest fast food joint with a bell on its sign, my stomach rumbling with excitement for the promised fiesta. I ordered the Volcano Extreme Crunch Fiesta Supreme meal, complete with cinnamon twists and a diet soda to balance things out. The transaction was swift. The employee handed me the bag with a smile that said, "You have no idea what you're in for." Or maybe it just said, "Have a nice day. I'll never know for sure." I decided I couldn't wait until I got home. The anticipation was too much to bear. I pulled into a parking space under a flickering fluorescent light, which should have been my first warning. I opened the box, and there, lying in a cardboard coffin, was my taco. Or, what was supposed to be my taco. The crispy golden shell looked pale and was already starting to sog through at the bottom. It had the structural integrity of a wet paper towel. It was less of a volcano and more of a sad, lukewarm puddle. The promise of a fiesta had been downgraded to a very quiet, slightly depressing gathering. A sparse sprinkling of beef, about 6 shreds of cheese, and a few wilted pieces of lettuce that looked like they had personally witnessed a traumatic event. The spicy, magical sauce was just a smear of orangish goo on one side of the wrapper. I poked it with a fry. It didn't move. It was no longer a food item. It was a crime scene. I sat there in my car, under that flickering light, and just stared at it. The loud, satisfying crunch from the commercial was replaced by the silent hum of my car's engine and the sound of my own heart breaking just a little bit. Now, you might be wondering how they get those burgers and tacos to look so darn good in the pictures. Is it magic? A special kind of camera? No, it's something far more fascinating and slightly disturbing. It's the work of a food stylist. These are the secret artists of the advertising world. Their job is to make food look like its most perfect, idealized self, and they have a whole bag of tricks that would make a magician jealous. They are not making food to be eaten, they are making food to be photographed, and that is a very, very different goal. Let's start with the burger. That perfectly round, fluffy bun, it's probably held together with pins and cardboard inserts to give it that impossible height. Those sesame seeds? They are often painstakingly glued on, one by one, with tweezers to ensure perfect placement. The patty itself is likely barely cooked. A raw or undercooked patty looks plumper and juicier on camera. The beautiful grill marks? They're not from a grill. They're often painted on with brown food coloring or literally branded onto the meat with a heated metal skewer, or even a complete mold set. The perfect melt of the cheese? That slice is probably melted with a heat gun or a steamer, just for a second, to get that perfect ooze without it looking greasy. And it doesn't stop there. The fresh, crisp lettuce is often spritzed with a mixture of water and glycerin to keep it looking dewy and fresh for hours under hot studio lights. The tomatoes are chosen for their perfect color and shape, sometimes with a little red lipstick applied to their edges to make them pop. The condiments, like ketchup and mustard, are not squeezed from a bottle. Oh no, they are applied with a syringe for absolute precision. Sometimes they even use things that aren't food at all. That creamy-looking ice cream? It could be a scoop of mashed potatoes or colored lard because real ice cream would melt in seconds. So that gorgeous burger you see on the billboard is basically a supermodel. It's been professionally styled, lit, and photoshopped to within an inch of its life. It's an illusion, a beautiful lie crafted by talented artists. The food you get in the bag is its real-life, no filter, just woke up and rolled out of bed cousin. It's a stark reminder that in the world of advertising, what you see is almost never what you get. It's not really food, it's a carefully constructed piece of art designed to make you hungry. And I have to admit, it works every single time. Don't think for a second that this is just an American problem. Oh no. The gap between expectation and reality is a language spoken fluently all over the world. It's a universal bond that unites us all in our collective deep-fried disappointment. From Tokyo to Toronto, from Berlin to Brazil, people are unwrapping their fast food to find a much sadder version of what was advertised. It seems that no matter where you go, the laws of advertising physics bend the truth in exactly the same way, creating a global brotherhood of the betrayed. In Japan, a country known for its precision and aesthetic beauty, you'd think fast food might be immune. But viral images have shown otherwise. Pictures circulate of bento boxes from convenience stores that look pristine and packed in the ad, but the real thing is a sparse and lonely-looking affair. Or consider the promotional photos for special edition menu items at major chains. A burger in Japan might be advertised with a beautiful, fluffy egg and perfectly layered ingredients, only to arrive looking like it was assembled during a minor earthquake. The disappointment is perhaps even more profound against a cultural backdrop of such high standards. Let's travel over to Europe. In the United Kingdom, people have shared hilarious photos of their fully loaded breakfast muffins that contain a single sad sliver of bacon. In Germany, a land of hearty sausages, a promotional image of a glorious foot-long hot dog might translate into a reality that's, well, let's just say it's more of a 6-inch suggestion. And in Italy, the birthplace of pizza, you can find fast food pizza ads showing bubbling cheese and generous toppings, while the actual pizza you receive looks like a pale disc with a few pepperoni slices scattered on it like they were thrown from across the room. The story is the same in countries like Canada, Australia, and Brazil. Canadians have documented their experiences with poutine that was promised to be overflowing with cheese curds and gravy, but arrived as a handful of fries with a light drizzle. Australians have posted pictures of their mighty burgers looking decidedly weak and pathetic. And in Brazil, ads for extravagant milkshakes topped with mountains of whipped cream and cookies often result in a soupy, half-filled cup. It's a worldwide conspiracy of culinary letdowns, proving that no matter our culture or language, we all just want our food to look like it does in the picture. In the old days, if you got a sad-looking burger, you'd just complain to your spouse or maybe your dog. But now, oh boy, we have the internet. And the internet has become the ultimate courtroom for fast food justice. A single photo of a pathetic taco or a squashed sandwich can go viral in minutes, shared by millions of people who all nod their heads and say, "I've been there." Social media platforms like Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok have become these massive archives of evidence, a digital hall of shame for the worst offenders. It's honestly kind of beautiful. It's grassroots consumer reporting at its finest, and let's be real, it's funniest. There are entire social media accounts and Reddit communities like the famous Expectations Reality subreddit dedicated to this very topic. People from all walks of life become, investigative journalists, carefully documenting the crime scene. They'll post a split-screen image on the left, the glorious, professionally shot advertisement, and on the right, the sad, crumpled reality they just pulled out of a paper bag. The comment sections are a goldmine of shared misery and dark humor. It's a place where we can all come together and laugh at the absurdity of it all. Basically, it's a support group for the culinarily deceived. One of the most famous viral trends involved a major fried chicken chain. The ad showed a bucket literally overflowing with huge golden brown pieces of chicken. It was a feast fit for a king. But customers started posting pictures of their buckets, which contained what looked like just a few scrawny, oddly shaped pieces swimming in a sea of grease at the bottom. The contrast was so stark it became a meme. People started calling it the bucket of lies. The company even had to issue a statement, which honestly is when you know you've made it as a viral sensation. You've shamed a multi-billion-dollar corporation into a public apology. That's power, people. These viral moments do way more than just make us laugh. They actually hold these massive corporations accountable in a way that was never possible before. A single, powerful image can do more damage to a brand's reputation than 1,000 negative reviews. It forces them to at least acknowledge the gap. Some companies have even responded by trying to be more authentic in their advertising. Though, the results are definitely mixed. But the power is now in our hands. Or, more accurately, in our phones. Every time you get a disappointing meal, you have the potential to start a global conversation. So snap that picture. You could be the next hero of the fast food wars. It's not just our eyes and our sad, empty stomachs telling us there's a problem. The numbers back it up. People have actually done studies on this. Researchers and consumer watchdog groups have gone out there, bought the food, and compared it to the ads. And their findings are both hilarious and honestly kind of validating. It confirms that we are not crazy. The food really does look that different. It's not just a one-off bad day at your local franchise. It's a systemic, calculated strategy that is deployed with remarkable consistency across the board. A few years ago, a consumer advocacy group conducted a study where they purchased items from several major fast food chains and then photographed them in a studio, mimicking the lighting and setup of the ads. The side-by-side comparisons were, shocking. They found that, on average, the real-life food items had significantly less volume and were far less visually appealing than their advertised counterparts. Ingredients were messier, smaller, and less vibrant. The height of a burger or sandwich was often dramatically less than what was portrayed in the promotional materials. It was like scientific proof of the great fast food swindle. Journalism outlets have done their own investigations, too. One news organization sent reporters to buy the same items from different locations of the same chain to see if quality varied. What they found was a surprising level of consistency. In disappointment, almost all the purchased items looked substantially worse than the ads. This wasn't about one lazy employee. This was about a standard operating procedure. The real food was consistently flatter, messier, and just plain sadder than the marketing promised. The reports often conclude that while the ingredients are technically the same, the presentation is a world apart. These surveys also dig into public perception. When asked, a huge majority of consumers say they are fully aware that fast food doesn't look like it does in the ads. We know we're being played. Yet, we keep going back. Why? The surveys suggest it's about convenience, price, and taste. We're willing to overlook the visual disappointment because the food still fulfills a basic need. But there's a limit. The same surveys show that customer satisfaction plummets when the reality is too far removed from the expectation. We can handle a little bit of a letdown, but when our Volcano Extreme Crunch Fiesta Supreme looks like roadkill, that's when we start to feel truly cheated. So you're sitting there, staring at your squashed burger, and you think to yourself, there ought to be a law against this. Well, there is, sort of. The world of advertising is governed by rules about truth and deception. In the United States, the Federal Trade Commission, or FTC, is the big sheriff in town. Their job is to prevent unfair or deceptive acts or practices. This means that an ad can't be outright false or mislead a reasonable consumer. So, if a burger ad shows a double cheeseburger, they have to give you a double cheeseburger. They can't just give you a single and call it a day. However, there's a big, greasy gray area called puffery. Puffery is the legal term for exaggeration. It's the kind of claim that isn't meant to be taken literally. Think of phrases like, the world's best coffee or the ultimate driving machine. A reasonable person knows these are just subjective opinions, not verifiable facts. Fast food advertising, honestly, lives and breathes in the land of puffery. When they show a burger that looks like it was handcrafted by angels, they can argue that they are simply presenting their product in the best possible light. They're not lying about the ingredients, they're just embellishing its appearance. The key legal question is whether the ad misleads the consumer about the fundamental nature of the product. As long as the burger contains 2 patties, cheese, lettuce, and a bun, the company can argue they have delivered what was promised. The fact that it doesn't look as pretty as the picture is considered puffery. They'll say that everyone knows food for photography is styled differently. It's a tricky defense, but it usually works. Lawsuits have been filed over this, but they rarely succeed. The courts are generally pretty reluctant to get into the business of regulating how plump a tomato slice needs to be. This is where it gets controversial. Critics argue that these images are more than just puffery. They are creating a false impression of the quantity and quality of the food. When a taco looks like it's overflowing with beef and cheese in the ad, but the real one has a mere spoonful, is that just embellishment, or is it a material deception about how much food you're actually getting? It's a debate that rages on. For now, the food stylists and their bags of tricks operate in that legally safe space. They are masters of making something look amazing without technically lying about what it is. It's a genius strategy, and a frustrating one for anyone who just wants a decent-looking lunch. Over the years, some fast food fails have been so spectacularly bad that they've earned a special place in our collective memory. These are the first ballot inductees into the Outrage Hall of Fame. They are the legends of letdown, the champions of disappointment. These are the cases that went beyond the usual squashed bun and entered a whole new realm of culinary catastrophe. They are the stories we tell our children to warn them about the dangers of believing in advertisements. Let's take a moment to honor a few of these legendary blunders. First up, we have the infamous sandwich that was mostly bread. A few years back, a major sandwich chain heavily promoted a new footlong that was supposed to be packed with meat and veggies. A customer in Australia bought one, got home, and decided to measure it. It wasn't a foot long, it was only 11 inches. He posted a photo with a tape measure, and the internet exploded. People all over the world started measuring their sandwiches. #footlong became a hashtag of fury. The company was hit with a class action lawsuit. In the end, they settled, promising to be more diligent about their bread length. It was a victory for truth, justice, and carbohydrates. Next, we must pay tribute to the Hollow Donut. A beloved coffee and donut chain once advertised a new line of filled donuts. The pictures showed them bursting at the seams with delicious jelly or cream. But customers soon discovered a horrifying truth. They would bite into the donut, only to find a vast, empty cavern inside, with just a tiny speck of filling hiding in a corner. It was like buying a house that was advertised as a mansion, but turned out to be a single-room studio with a really big foyer. The sense of betrayal was deep and personal. A donut is supposed to be a source of pure joy, not an existential lesson in emptiness. And who could forget the salad of sadness? A fast food giant decided to get on the health train and started advertising beautiful, vibrant, garden-fresh salads. The ads showed a colorful medley of crisp greens, cherry tomatoes, cucumber slices, and grilled chicken. What people actually received was often a plastic bowl of pale, wilted iceberg lettuce, maybe one sad, pinkish tomato wedge, and a few pieces of chicken that looked suspiciously gray. It was the kind of salad that makes you want to immediately go and eat a double cheeseburger out of sheer spite. It was a failure so epic it became a symbol for corporate attempts to fake sincerity. These are the legends, the cautionary tales that remind us to always lower our expectations. Okay, so we've established that fast food ads are beautiful lies. We've seen the evidence, we've heard the stories, we've laughed at the fails. But at the end of the day, what are we really going to do about it? Are we going to picket the headquarters of these burger joints? Are we going to start a congressional inquiry into the structural integrity of tacos? Probably not. And maybe that's okay. Maybe the real lesson here isn't about the food at all. Maybe it's about us. It's about learning to laugh at the small, absurd disappointments in life. Life is full of expectations versus reality. We expect our commute to be quick, and then we hit traffic. We expect our hot date to look like their profile picture, and then they don't. We expect to wake up feeling refreshed, and then we remember it's Monday. If we let every single one of these little letdowns ruin our day, we would be miserable all the time. A sad-looking burger is just one more drop in the bucket of life's minor imperfections. It's not a global crisis. It's not the end of the world. It's just lunch. And it's a pretty funny story to tell later. Think about it. In the grand scheme of things, a squashed sandwich is a pretty good problem to have. It means you have food to eat. It means you have the luxury of choosing convenience. There are much bigger things to worry about in the world. So, my advice is this. Embrace the fail. Find the humor in it. See it as a reminder not to take everything so seriously. Life is too short to get genuinely angry about a limp fry. See it as a game. Will today be the day that my food actually looks like the picture? Probably not, but the suspense is part of the fun. So live free. Enjoy your life. Don't sweat the small stuff. And a disappointing burger is definitely small stuff. Order the food, hope for the best, and be prepared for the worst. And if you do get that one-in-a-million meal that actually looks like the ad, cherish it. Take a picture. Frame it. Because you have witnessed a miracle. For all the other times, just take a bite, have a laugh, and move on with your fabulous day. Because a life filled with joy is much more satisfying than a perfectly constructed hamburger anyway. All right, I've shown you my evidence. I've shared my own tragic taco tale. I've taken you on a global tour of fast food disappointment. But this isn't a one-way conversation. This is a shared human experience. And I know for a fact that you have stories of your own. You've been in those drive-thrus. You've unwrapped that paper. You have felt that unique mix of hope and despair. Now, it's your turn to step up to the counter and share your truth. I want to hear all about your own hilarious fast food misadventures. Have you ever received a burger so flat it could have been sent through the mail as a letter? Have you ever ordered a loaded anything and found it to be completely empty? What's the most outrageous difference you've ever seen between the advertisement and the actual item you were served? I want the details. I want the drama. I want the photographic evidence if you've got it. Let's turn the comments section into our very own digital museum of fast food fails. Let's build the biggest archive of expectation versus reality the world has ever seen. This is how we do it. This is how we stick together. By sharing our stories, we create a community. We laugh together, we cry into our soggy fries together, and we let these giant corporations know that we are watching. We see you, fast food chains. We see your beautiful ads, and we see the sad little burgers you're actually giving us. And we're going to talk about it. So get down there in the comments and let it all out. Don't be shy. Your story could be the one that makes everyone laugh the hardest. And while you're at it, you know the drill. If you had a good time, if you laughed, if you felt seen in your fast food struggles, then do all the things. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, ring that notification bell so you don't miss what's next. Share this with a friend who you know has a story to tell. Let's keep this conversation going. Because life is better when we share it. Even the disappointing parts. Especially the disappointing parts. Now go on. I can't wait to read what you've got.